Why is this so hard to do?
What?
Why is comic reviews always so hard for me to start? I can never get this thing to start consistently. I'm terrible. I don't know why anyone subscribes to this channel. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Comic Reviews. I'm Sid Part 2, and I am having just all kinds of difficulties. I was all ready to go, I was getting an early start on everything, and then my neighbor's car alarm went off for like 5 minutes straight. I think car alarms are just generally useless. Like, I've never heard a car alarm and went, oh no, someone's stealing a person's car. I'm just like, God, those are annoying. Hope that person goes and turns it off. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into what we'll be talking about tonight. We shall begin with Daredevil, number 596, followed by Mr. Miracle, number 5, and then Wonder Woman, number 36. Then we'll conclude single issues with Invader Zim, number 20, maybe? What issue is this? 26. And then for trade talk, it's not really a trade, it's more just a larger issue. We'll be talking about an old Elseworld story called Batman Two Faces. Alright. So I hope everyone's having a good week. I hope all is going well for you. And let's just go ahead and get my cell phone away from my microphone. Let's go ahead and get started with Daredevil, number 596. So I decided to add this because I actually quite liked the first issue, and I'm interested to see where it goes. Though I am worried about Charles Soule. He's writing Darth Vader, and I'm not super impressed with that. I was really disappointed by the flip-floppy direction of the Poe Dameron book. So this one I am tentatively looking at. Like, we'll see how it goes. But this picks up basically right where the last issue left off, with Daredevil having broken out of Mayor Fisk's office, and now he is running away from the police. The entire New York City Police Department has been turned on Daredevil and are told to hunt him down. And so the majority of this issue is just Daredevil trying to get away from the police. It's very Frank Miller-esque in that way. I'm thinking Batman Year One. And he's just dealing with, a hellstorm as, like, he's being attacked by all these cops and stuff, and he's sitting there thinking, what's his next move going to be? How's he going to show him the city that he's still the good guy and that Mayor Fisk is the bad guy? And ultimately, he works to just get away. He doesn't even have time to really think about that. He's just so overwhelmed by everything that happens. There's a little tease with this guy who's called Muse. He's apparently in prison on New Attilan. But he's just been biding his time there, and I guess he's just leaving because he's seen Daredevil now. Otherwise, Matt ends up slipping away, and then the end of this is a phone call between Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk. And keep in mind, Wilson Fisk apparently doesn't know who Matt Murdock is, who Daredevil is, at this point in time. But it ends with a phone call between the two of them, where Fisk asks Matt to be his deputy mayor over the phone. And Matt says, okay, I'm down. Sign me up. And, like, Fisk's whole thing is he needs someone who is above reproach, who is completely and totally trustable. And with Matt just having argued in front of the Supreme Court and all this stuff, that seems like he's the guy. And so I feel like this was a really intriguing issue, and it makes me wonder about what's going to happen. Seeing the entire police department just turn on Daredevil like that is really interesting, and excuse me, I can't talk. is a really interesting idea, and it makes you wonder about, like, how is he going to take down Mayor Fisk if he can't even, go out on the streets as Daredevil anymore. He's public enemy number 1 right now. And this just, it sets up, an interesting dynamic. Especially with Fisk calling him like this, does Fisk know that he's Daredevil? I don't know. It's a really... I'm just having a hard time tonight. It's a really interesting dynamic. It's a lot of, like, who knows what kind of thing going on for it. So that's cool. I really like that idea. Art-wise, I don't have a ton to say. There's some really cool shading and stuff, but not a ton that's, like, super noteworthy. I do like one panel, though, in particular, just because I like this kind of effect on things. It's toward the end. There we go. I like when we show motion with cars by having the taillights just kind of moving away. So, I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. The art in here was more, I guess, serviceable before it was anything else. But not a ton to say on this. Certainly not, like, head over heels excited about this book yet, but I'm enjoying the first 2 issues of this run, so we'll see how it goes. Let's see here. Gliding with Ancient GR. And I know this is totally off topic, but what's a Batman comic that you think is underappreciated? What we're talking about tonight. When I get to that, stay tuned for Trade Talk. There you go. Ugh, jaw's like locking up on me. I think that's why I'm having trouble talking tonight. By the way, sorry for starting comic reviews so early. I know you guys are used to, like, usually like an hour or so from now. I just finished all my books, and it'd be nice to just chill tonight. So I'm gonna get through this pretty quick. Mr. Miracle, number 5 by Tom King, and Mitch Gerads on the art. This is really interesting. This is really sweet. I don't have, like, a super hot, super interesting take on this yet, is my thing. And I don't even, like... I certainly enjoyed it. This isn't as heartbreaking or as head scratching as I thought it would be. Though it's certainly got its moments. This had a lot of covers. I kind of wanted a different cover for this, but I'm not going to be too picky because I don't see the point in paying money for covers. What I'll do is I'll buy the trade that collects this all when it's all said and done, and then I'll get all the covers, right? But this one's been really hyping up the romance between Barda and Scott and what their marriage is like. And so I thought this was really interesting that, it's kind of this over-looming thing that Scott's going to die in a couple of days. He's going to New Genesis to be killed. Everyone say hi to Haley in the background. He's going to New Genesis to be killed, and so they're, like, spending their last days together, and they kind of just get home and from a event and go to bed with each other, go to have sex, and that's, just, it's a believable marriage kind of thing. And I think most importantly, what I like about this sex scene is it's not like what do you call that, like L-shaped sheets. Like you see that in a lot of movies and television where for whatever reason they can't, or they, like, censorship or the actress doesn't want to do it, where they can't get both actors to be naked on screen together. So what you'll usually get is, like, a guy that'll be exposed to a certain point, then you'll get a girl that's exposed to only a lesser degree. So you kind of get, like, an L-shaped bed sheet. So, like, the guy will have his full chest exposed and the girls will, like, be cut off right here. So they don't do anything like silly like that, but it's also not just it doesn't become a porno comic for a couple pages either, which is nice. It feels like a tastefully done sex scene. I do wonder if this little censorship of Scott's junk will be removed when we go to trade, as opposed to single issues. Otherwise, I do enjoy this scene. Still got all the reality warping effect. It's really hard to pin down. Everything's just done tastefully, which I like. Otherwise, they then spend the next day together just doing stuff. They started out by visiting Oberon's grave, and then they go to a restaurant that Scott really likes, and then they go to a park, and then they go to the beach, and then they go to an amusement park after a normal park, and then they go to a beach, and Scott tries to win her a Wonder Woman, giant stuffed Wonder Woman. Then they go to the beach and watch the sunset. And this is really interesting because philosophy major right here. So Scott talks about Descartes in this scene at the beach at the sunset. Descartes, you know Descartes even if you don't know that you know Descartes. He very famously, as Scott points out here, said the "I think, therefore I am" line, and everybody and their brother knows that from philosophy. Some of the other stuff Descartes did that's not as well published or directly tied. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Descartes also did this. You should probably remember this from middle school and high school math classes, wherein you could plot numbers on Descartes' Cartesian plane, which is what this is called. So he created a grid for plotting numbers, and that's kind of like a pretty consistent thing that Descartes known for. So he invented that method of number plotting. But Descartes, more famously and as quoted in here, came up with the whole "I think, therefore I am" argument for rationalism. This is weird that I'm talking about Descartes after last week on Trade Talk. I talked about Kant in regards to not the categorical imperative, to the bridge between rationalism and empiricism. But Descartes made the big argument for rationalism, which was "I think, therefore I am." So Descartes' all right, I doubt everything. I doubt that 2 + 2 = 4. For all I know, some demon tricked me into thinking that. What can't I doubt? And the one thing Descartes couldn't doubt is that he was doubting, that he was thinking, so therefore he was something. What he was didn't matter. And then he gets to the argument of God, which is the ontological argument. And in the argument of God is really simply put here, and it's effectively put here. I don't mean to downplay it. The argument of God is God is the greatest possible thing. Descartes used the words "the most perfect," that there were things that were clearly more perfect than other things, and so God would have to exist because existence is more perfect than non-existence. And then this also addresses the complaints against that. It's really interesting to discuss rationalism in regards to Mr. Miracle, because Scott Free is a character who escapes, and rationalism is about escaping kind of an ultimate doubt. It's about trying to prove that you can know things, because a lot of empiricists will say stuff like, "Oh, the only things you can know is what you can experience," but in the same breath, they'll admit that they can't experience everything. That even their experiences are colored in a certain perspective. So it's this neat little ball of mush, and I like that this is where Scott Free's mind goes while he waits to die. Otherwise, the wider significance of this scene, I don't have an answer for right now. I am not Steve Baxi. I cannot take a one-pass read through something and have a completely formulated opinion and complete understanding of what it is, but I do like it. It's a neat scene, and it's, I don't know, I've kind of had conversations like this with my wife where she just kind of sits there and I hope enjoys being around me while I talk about a bunch of shit that I don't necessarily understand. So this is good for that. Really, this whole issue just shows a great respect and loving relationship between Scott and Barda, and I really like that, because then they're stuck in traffic, and then they go and look at the valley and the stars, and then they go back to the hotel and make love again. And then the comic ends with Funky Flashman showing up with some new gods, and he has to he's trying to convince Scott that he's got a method for him to get away with all this, and he's trying to take Scott and with him with the new gods, and Barda just like fucking murders the shit out of him and says stay, because she doesn't want Scott to go to be executed. And I really like that. It's really good stuff. I'm quite enjoying this book. There's a couple scenes that I didn't talk about. The stay thing is a reference to the opening scene. There was a scene with a lot of really dark humor that I thought was very, very hilarious. Where Scott's trying to think of if he and Barda have a song or something together. And she's like, Scott, we met in the torture pits on Apocalypse. The only thing we heard was the crying of the damned. And so Scott's like, hey, Motherbox, play the sounds of the crying of the damned. And then it's just like, ah! No! Gods help me! Why? And they're just like sitting there laughing during it, which just kind of shows you just like how these two have been through so much together that they're able to enjoy this experience, enjoy hearing something so horrible. So I thought that was pretty good. I love this relationship. This is a beautiful and supportive and loving relationship. I'm going to go ahead and go on, though, to Wonder Woman, number 36. Stuff happened in this issue, which feels good. Things developed in this issue, which is nice. There's something going on with Giganta, and I don't quite know what to make of it. She was apparently hired to steal artifacts by Darkseid, which I don't know why any villain would work for Darkseid once you know who Darkseid is. That's weird to me, but whatever. Anyway, so Wonder Woman's like tied up as she's known to do, and she's sitting there arguing with Jason about what he's done to her and how he's betrayed them, and she apparently reveals to him that Grail has been killing the old gods, which he apparently didn't know, which is pretty freaking dumb, but whatever. And then Wonder Woman breaks out after she reveals that information and starts fighting the two of them. But in the middle of her battle, she gets Omega beamed in the back, and Darkseid is here as a young man now. As much as I don't like the whole, the way Darkseid's aging and stuff, I will admit the Omega symbol across the chest that glows is pretty slick ass design. I'm waiting for the rocky skin though. Waiting for that. So, anyways, Darkseid wants her alive for some reason, and Wonder Woman's trying to fight him, but just kind of getting demolished in the process. Kind of tossed aside left and right. Which, I don't know, I don't think Diana would not fare this well against Darkseid. I feel she would fare better. I think of Rock of Ages when I think of Wonder Woman fighting Darkseid. Anyway, she kind of gets tossed around for a bit, and that that inspires Jason to realize that he's on the wrong side and go fight, or go try to protect his sister. And then Zeus shows up. Zeus was apparently the lawyer for Hercules, but now he's Zeus. Zeus shows up to fight Darkseid and protect his children. Just what I needed. Zeus coming to save Wonder Woman when she's in need. I don't know. I'm sure that it's going to be something else, like Zeus gets defeated and Wonder Woman has to embrace her true godly power and defeat Darkseid or something. Maybe with Jason's help. Maybe Jason dies. I don't know. I'm not enjoying this. Just fundamentally, I'm not enjoying the way this is going. And I just don't find it interesting. I really scratch my head about why the hell we're doing this after Greg Rucka just did his whole run. But whatever, Child of Zeus again. You're not writing the gods very well. The gods aren't written complexly here. I don't like that. I'm just not happy with it. It's just not a very good story. I can honestly say I'm looking forward to when James Robinson is done on this book, because I need someone else to be on it, because his story itself is not gripping me, and the way in which he's telling it is just horrendous. As far as just not having anything happen for 2 issues, stuff like that, I can't stand that. Alright, last issue. Invader Zim, number 26. So this issue is written and drawn by the same person, Sarah Garaley, Graley. And I kind of like the writing. I think the writing is fine, and it feels pretty Invader Zim-esque. Not very happy with the art in this. It just doesn't look very clean. It looks enough like Vader Zim, I'll admit, but parts of it just look really unfinished. It's got really kind of sloppy, curvy line work to me. I don't care for it. It reminds me of, like, isn't there an episode of, yeah, it reminds me of the Organs episode of Invader Zim, where, like, the art style reminds me of that episode where Zim gets, like, really just bloated and disgustingly fat, because he's stealing and consuming the other children's organs. And this just kind of looks like that, like Zim did in that, but not for a story reason. It just looks kind of like blobby artwork, and I'm not pleased with that. I thought this was, I don't know, it doesn't look very good. It doesn't look like something the show would produce. It looks like a fan-made Flash animation or something by comparison. So the art I thought was pretty underwhelming, unimpressive. Which is unfortunate because I've quite liked a lot of the artistic, like subtle artistic touches that I've seen in this book so far. And this seems like it's trying to do a little bit of its own style here. I just don't think it works. I think it's too much of a deviation from the show's art style. Like, look at Gur's eyes in this panel where he's sitting on the wall with the kid here. Gur's eyes don't morph like that in the show, at least not to my memory. I'm not going to say that as an absolute. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure when Gur's eyes changed, they were always at pretty harsh angles. I don't remember them ever bending. And so it's just stuff like that I think doesn't look very good. The story, though, is that Gur puts himself in a human costume in order to go visit Zim at school. And Dib is freaking out about how everyone at school cannot notice that Gur is clearly a robot in a boy costume. And no one else notices. Dib points it out, and everyone's like, "God, Dib, why are you gonna be such a bully?" So that is truly in line with the show, which I thought is with the show's writing style, which I thought was pretty good. But Zim's kind of mad at him for doing it, and then he realizes that Gur has the secrets of his classmates. So he's like, "Oh, this is valuable information. Tell me the secrets." And Gur's like, "I can't. I got rid of my memory chip." And so it's like a whole half the comic is trying to get back Gur's memory chip, and Dib and Zim fighting over it, and there's a muffin gun, and yada yada yada. End of the story, though, is Gur gets his memories back and tells Zim all the classmates' secrets, but their children and their children's secrets. Alex's secret is that she gave everyone lice that one time. Jessica's secret is that she thinks Letty is cute. Carl's secret is that he thinks you smell like bologna. So, I don't know. That was cute. That's the story's fine. The art style I was not impressed by. So yeah, that's all I got for that issue. Okay, that'll do it for the single issues. So I'm gonna go on to Trade Talk. Who was it that was here? Gliding with Ancient GR. If you're still here, enjoy Trade Talk, since you asked about what a good underrated Batman story is. And I got it for you. This is called Batman Two Faces. This is an Elseworlds that came out in 1998. And I absolutely love this story. I think this is a great Batman story. That no one pays attention to. I've never heard anyone else talk about this, and I love it. What initially got me about this is this was when I was first getting into comics, when I was first collecting, that I came across this at my local store in the back issues, and I instantly bought it because I was like, oh, if it's got a cool cover, I'll buy it. That was just my thing. If it's got a cool cover, I will buy it. And this remains, to this day, one of, if not my favorite Batman covers of all time. I adore the cover to this comic book. Who did the cover? Doesn't give a cover credit. I'm gonna assume it's Anthony Williams, since he's doing the art. So this whole, it's not quite, but it's definitely aping on the imagery of a yin-yang with Joker and Batman's face. And then you got two faces as the title, and you got the coin over here on the side with the DC logo. I thought it was pretty great. I like that this functions. It's readable both directions. And it's a really cool juxtaposition. This perfectly captures who Batman and the Joker are to me. They really are you know, the metaphors used for them, I do feel fit really well. They're two sides of the same coin. They are a duality. They are the yin and the yang. I think it's great. So anyway, this is a story that is set in the late 1800s. And it's unclear. No, Gotham is in America here. I take that back. But it's a very Gothic-inspired America. So anyway, it's a story that Jim Gordon is telling to Peregrine White, the newspaper man at a gentleman's club, the Iceberg Lounge. And so this was in the papers a couple of years ago, and Gordon's telling him the true side of the story. So it all starts with this rose, which is called the Nightingale. I think it's called... What's it called? Oh, no. The orchid. The night orchid. The twilight orchid, sorry. So it starts with this rare flower, which is being brought to Gotham City as under Bruce Wayne's funding, that blooms both in the day and attracts insects, but its roots creep out in the night and it gets nourishment from other plants surrounding it. So it's a twilight flower. It's active both night and day in different ways. So they get it, and there's also talk of the criminal at large, Two-Face, who is, of course, Harvey Dent, and was at one time friends with Bruce Wayne. The flower is in Gotham, and as rare artifacts in Gotham are known to do, it is immediately stolen by a super criminal, Harvey Dent, Two-Face. I love the idea of Harvey Dent stealing something with a Zeppelin. That's cool. Anyway, it's stolen, but while it's being stolen, they kidnap Pamela Isley and just throw her out. They flip a coin, it comes up Scarred's side, and they throw Pamela Isley off the plane. This version of Bruce Wayne is unique, however, in that he is not physically much to speak of. He tries at first to fight Two-Face when he shows up, but he just gets kind of immediately kicked down, and then he tries to climb up the Zeppelin and give chase, but he can't hold on and falls. So Pamela Isley is killed, and Bruce Wayne blames himself. So he sets himself in his work, and he has the remnants of the Twilight Orchid since Pamela Isley grabbed it as she fell. And he admits to Alfred that the reason he funded getting it here was because he was sure that he could create a serum from the flower that would tame the duality within Two-Face. And he just needed to be able to have access to the flower. So now he's got the dead flower, and he's working night and day creating a serum, which he takes. And as soon as he takes the serum, he feels full of vigor and incredibly powerful. He runs to his gym and, punches the boxing, the boxing bag? No, that's not what you call it. Heavy bag? The punching bag. There we go. Knocks the punching bag right off the chain, splits it open, jumps up to the rafters in a single jump, and decides that he's going to use these newfound abilities to go fight crime. I forgot to mention he's already a detective in this continuity. So you get kind of like it's very reminiscent of Gotham by Gaslight Batman. Stalking the night, and his mission is to disrupt Two-Face's operation. So he goes and he, takes down some criminals and is causing a lot of problems for it. And when Two-Face is told that a bat is destroying his operations, he kind of goes crazy and starts killing his minions brutally and stuff like that. Meanwhile, Selena Kyle, who is a madam, is having a problem wherein one of her girls is taken by a fancy gent and is brutally murdered in a back alley. And all we get is just for the dialogue from the fancy gent. So Gordon goes to Bruce Wayne about this and asks him if he can help, take some time off trying to work on the Two-Face case and also work on this case, and he agrees. So he goes out at night as Batman to try to help with it. Runs into Catwoman. She's sure it's him that's been killing the girls. He apparently knows Selena Kyle already and shows her that it's Bruce Wayne, and they agree to work together and split up and take different sides of the city. Selena Kyle, though, runs into the assailant first and goes to fight him, but he has inhuman strength. He is easily able to overpower her and is completely tossing her around. So she manages to get away enough that she can send out the signal they agreed on before she is stabbed and falls off a roof. Across the city, Batman sees the signal, rushes on horseback to come to her aid, and is able to get her into a hospital. What she says to him, though, when he gets to her is, "Bruce, what took you so long?" And the implication there is that it just took him too long to get across the city. But that's not quite what we see happen as this evolves. So Bruce Wayne, feeling more determined, takes more of the serum and then comes to a realization. So he writes 2 letters, one to Jim Gordon and one to Two-Face, both summoning them to the same location, before he reveals that he is Batman. He takes off his mask, reveals that he's Batman, and tells them both that he doesn't have much time. He's not sure how much longer he can control it, but he has perfected the serum that will cure Harvey Dent. And his mistake was trying it on himself, because it was a serum meant for those with the duality complex. And so what it does is it makes Bruce Wayne into Batman, but it also has the other side of the pendulum swinging, which it turns him into Joker. So you got, I really like this idea of a Jack the Ripper style Joker that's just, super powered raving maniac kind of thing, strength of 10 men. And I love this panel over here. I have such, if we're talking very specific Batman-related things that I am just in for, I don't even care about the quality of your story, it is Joker in a bat costume. I don't care what the context is for the scene, but Joker in a bat costume is one of my favorite things, bar none. So Bruce transforms into the Joker and immediately starts attacking Gordon and Harvey, and they have to try to overpower him and try to stop the Joker, and in the struggle they end up killing him. Bruce comes out just for a second to implore Harvey to take the serum, but in the end the Joker is killed, and the story wraps up with Harvey looking at the serum and flipping his coin before we cut back to the present day, back at the Gentleman's Club. Or no, we don't cut to the present day yet. We cut back to the day-to-day of Gordon and Detective Bullock busting up an opium den, but seeing all their work's already been done for them, and realizing that they've got an ally still out there, the Batman. And we get a close-up on the eyes, and it's Harvey Dent. I really like that Two-Face takes the serum that Bruce Wayne sacrificed his life to give him, and it makes him into a complete person, a good person. And then we cut back to the framing device, and we're told that one of the stipulations of the Iceberg Lounge Gentlemen's Club is you can never repeat the stories you hear within its walls. So this is just a really, really cool story. This is a really fun Elseworlds story, and it's really, really interesting, and it's through the roof with its thematics. It's just beating you over the head with its thematics in a way that I quite enjoy. You have the Twilight Orchid, which has a duality. You have Harvey Dent, Two-Face, which is a character all about duality. And you have Batman and Joker, which have a duality within themselves, and this all comments on the duality within man, the different sides of every person. And so I really love it. The thematics are through the roof. I think it's reasonably clever to do Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde with Batman and the Joker. I think that's kind of a neat idea. I just like literally showing that Bruce Wayne could become the Joker. I think that's really cool. Let me grab something real quick. I know, I'm so fucking on it, man. I'm so prepared just all the time. I'm never, ever not prepared for doing these comic reviews. And the best part is I don't even have the book on that shelf. So let me go check another shelf real quick, where, again, I'm less prepared. I'm just so good at this. So amazingly good at being a prepared YouTuber. I don't have it at all. I don't have it out anywhere. It must be hidden away somewhere. The book Batman and Philosophy, though, I'm sure people have heard of that, talks about this particular comic when it addresses the question of whether or not Batman and the Joker are the same person. And they handle that question just like garbage. They don't even answer the question in the way that it's meant. They answer the question in the most dipshit way possible. But they do address this story in it, which is something I always thought was kind of neat. I highly recommend this as a Batman fan, as a Joker fan. I think this is a great story. I think it is a lot of fun. Written by Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning. Dan Abnett is writing the current run on Aquaman that I'm reading right now, so that's kind of cool. Great little forgotten gem. I recommend it wholeheartedly. All right, but that will do it for this episode of Trade Talk. So everyone, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye. Okay. Hi, everyone in the comic review land. How's it going? In the live comments here. Just figured I'd drop back, see what's going on. Looking through. Man, y'all started getting talkative after I left. Okay. Kuma Ranger asked if I was going to pick up Rucka's Brave and the Bold. It's not Rucka, it's Liam Sharp, and yes, I am. For those that don't know, that's a Wonder Woman Batman crossover that's going to be happening. It's like, I think, 5 or 6 issues. So I'm excited for that because I've not been very happy with the current Wonder Woman book. So have they said when that Invader Zim movie is coming out? I don't know. I'm not sure when Invader Zim. Not many. Looks like everyone's just talking amongst themselves. Oh, Abnett's on Titans. Oh, that's cool. I've found his Aquaman kind of typical, I guess you'd call it. I've not been super impressed with it, but it's not been bad. So maybe it's Titans. He's just got a stronger voice for. I don't know. Well, it looks like everyone's kind of just talking amongst themselves, so you feel free to do that in other formats. I am glad I got comic reviews done before 7 o'clock, so I'm gonna enjoy my evening. Everyone, thanks very much for watching. Bye.